says 31 on it says 31 on my laptop.
Yeah.
Oh, it just came up. That must be a new thing. It just came up on the screen. You're live across the front of it. Haven't seen that before. Anyway, folks, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all, and wherever you watch or are watching us from, be it live here tonight in the group, be it on YouTube, or indeed, if you prefer to watch us on replay. This is your weekly Mauls, Balls, and all from Irish Rugby Banter, where we shoot the breeze about all things rugby, basically, and it's by the fans for the fans. With me is our man there. I never get this fucking right. James, or not James Grannon, Jesus, Mike Reedy from the Irishman in Glasgow. Our guest, who is a member, and he's also a dodgy bloke according to Facebook, because he's been in jail more times than I don't know what. Dave Sheedy, how are you?
Good. How are the lads?
Are you well? Good, man. We're all good. And as always, the dependable Peter Martin is with us. Gentlemen, how the hell are we all? Are we all well in ourselves?
All good, man. All good.
An awful lot better than maybe Dan McFarlane, but anyway, that's what we're all. That's what we're here for.
Jesus, you just preempted my first topic. Now, Dave Sheedy, seeing as you are our guest, I'm coming to you first on this. Dan McFarlane, it is dominating the media sphere today. Tomorrow it'll probably go on. He decided to vacate his position. He wasn't bad. They got an initial lift in performance when he took over, but Ulster have been, I suppose, shocking the past couple of years. What do you think he outstayed his welcome, Dave? To be honest,
possibly. I think people always, when stuff isn't going right, they put a lot of emphasis on the coaches. But we have top class international standard players up there who are clearly not pulling themselves as well. So there is some responsibility on the players. People 4 years later are still talking about Stockdale when he's never come back to the form he was. They're still going on about Doak and all that now. Is this hype from Ulster supporters? We can all see it ourselves. There's damn good players up there. So I suppose the buck does stop with the coach. He's, dragged it on. And yeah, it probably as a lot of what I've read from Ulster fans, a lot of them said he should have left last season. The problem I have with a lot of this, and I made a comment on the group yesterday about it, is people announcing this before the end of the season. I think it's players or coaches. I think it's an absolute disgrace because it ruins the rest of the season for the team. Can we trust this guy to bring us to the end of the season? This player, this coach, stuff like that just drives me nuts because it's turned this game into kind of soccer-esque. And if people say that's the nature of professional sport, it's not, and it shouldn't be. Just because it's good in one sport and code doesn't mean it should be acceptable in our code. So
what's your overall impression of him as a coach, Dave?
I'll be honest with you, Peter. I'm probably the worst person to talk to about this because I literally watch the games and I don't listen to any of the after talk between coaches. So people are saying he's a spoofer and this, that, and the other, but the way he talks, I never listen. I listen to kind of more Leinster, Connacht and Munster interviews afterwards. I never really listen, and I apologize to everyone from Ulster. I never listened to the aftermath of their game. So sorry.
No, that's fine. Fair enough. Peter Martin, Dan McFarlane. What are your thoughts on all this? I think the general consensus is that he did outstay his welcome.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say, when you look across, and I think I posted this on the group, Andy Friend, when he was with Connacht, he always basically said that anywhere he has been in the past, he'd never go any longer than 3 years. And he did sign an extension with Connacht And I think if we had the likes of James Grennan or any other Connacht fans, they would probably, if you pushed them to it, they'd probably say the final couple of years of Andy Friend's tenure with Connacht wasn't quite as good as the previous three. I think, look, the way it is, one of the things, and like as I've said on here before, ad nauseum, I do a bit of coaching myself. Now it's under 12s, I'm not going to lie. But generally speaking, a lot of coaches, and it doesn't have to be, it's across sport as well, right? And I'm going to wind you up now, Peter, with this example, but bear with me, right?
Go on.
Jurgen Klopp of Liverpool announced very recently that he was leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. And he gave a wholehearted, kind of emotional interview and kind of said, you know, I have the energy now, but I know I'm running out, or words to that effect. So he basically, what he's demonstrating is significant self-awareness, that he knows where his limits lie. He knows that he's looking around the dressing room. He's coming in every day to Melwood training, and the energy of his words, the motivation that he's trying to come up with every day, with something fresh and brand new to give to all the players. He's running out. The tank is running low. So he's doing the right thing by himself and probably by the club, given the fact that Liverpool are on top of the Premier League. He's getting out and he's signposting it nice and early, and he's just basically continuing from here on in to the end of the season. Now, contrast that with Don McFarland. He has shown absolutely nothing remotely like that in the last 12 to 18 months. In fact, he is thoroughly, in my opinion, and wholeheartedly at times, pointed the finger elsewhere for performance and for results. I do think that's not going to serve him well, I would say, in the short term. When he does basically take a step back, and I've said this already I think I posted it already on the group somewhere, that he needs to take a good long break out of the game for his own well-being, but also to help people forget the crap that's come out of his mouth for the last while, like, you know, when he's been interviewed, because that's what it's been. You know, there doesn't seem to be, you know, a sense of, look, we have to do better. Like, even if it's just like fucking platitudes, like, we have to do better. We know what we're working on. We weren't good today. We got the prep wrong. Even a question of, yeah, I got it wrong this week. You know, just basically share the blame. Take it off the players. You look at Graham Rowntree. And Rowntree, you just basically, he wears his heart in his sleeve, and he comes up, and Munster have had shy performances in the last number of weeks and months after they won their fantastic URC championship. He's come in, he's rocked up to the camera, and the eyes are looking droop, and he's like, nah, not good enough. Not good enough. Yeah. We were rubbish. Bar basically saying, we were fucking shite. It's not good enough. We're all going to get an absolute, you know, that is absolute 100% honesty from Rowntree. And it basically goes on to the players. The players know that, and the players then do respond. There's no doubt about it. I think, in my view, Rowntree he's there for the long haul. The fact that he gets Munster is massive. Yeah. Because he comes he came from Leicester, which has that kind of community.
Yeah.
You feel, you know, and they're basically, as a club probably outside England that will be like Leicester, it's definitely Munster with that community feel, you know, the you know, we're all in it together kind of thing. But
yeah,
like,
do you know what, Pete? I like that comparison with the coaches. Do you know the two other coaches who are like that, like Graham Rowntree, with their honesty in interviews, are Andy Farrell and Leo Cullen.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing, is that, you know, to understand that when things aren't going well, you know, by all means, and we've said it we've seen it in the past and heard it in the past, by all means, when you're in front of the camera, you can basically talk like a politician and talk in circles and roll out the usual old carp about performance and having to do better. And by all means, you know, have a fucking hairdryer in the dressing room if need be, because some players actually need that. Some players need a toe up the H. saying, "You're fucking shite, lads. There you are, Irish international, 25 caps, and you're barely putting your shoulder to the wheel. Some guys need a boot up the hole. Other guys need their arm around the shoulder and basically, you're a great player. I need to see more from you." Do you know what I mean? But just coming back, I'll stop putting the boot in on McFarland on the negative side of stuff. When he came in initially, and I think this is what needs to be remembered, Ulster were in a hole because of the Paddy Jackson scenario, and he did an awful lot to turn it around. It was his first. Let's not forget, it was his first head job, and he was definitely the right man for the job. Like, the second season in, and you could see those gradual improvement. And I felt myself that the culmination of where they're at was that they had some fantastic performances when the South African teams first came into the URC, and they almost won away in consecutive weekends. It was 1 or 2 weeks. I think we might have had our Ulster fan, is it Chris Kirkpatrick?
Tim. Oh, Tim.
Sorry, Tim on, and like it was around that time we had Tim on, and there was a couple of fantastic results, and it was just a little bit of game management stuff going on. They were very, very close to being a really, really good side, Ulster were. And we just thought at the time they're just missing 1 or 2 players, but they have their back line as well at the time. I think was outside Leinster was the most exciting and in the club team in Europe. And of course the fact that you had Jared Payne there as well. Jared Payne left, and this is from the time he left, Johnny Bell came in, everything went to shit. The back line looked devoid of ideas, devoid of shape, devoid of a bit of brio and a bit of guile about them that they were going to cut open like they would have cut open, because like that Ulster backline, take Big Choo Stew out of it. It's a young bloody backline. They're all in their mid-20s. They're only fresh out of the under-20s and so on and so forth. So there's plenty of youth and vibrancy there. But they just went to fucking shite after Jared Payne went. So, and I think that's an important thing as well, is that McFarland has had a hand in that in some shape, way, or form. Either he didn't try too hard enough to keep him on, or else there was a falling out of some description, or whatever the case may be. It'll all come out in the wash, I'm sure.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Dave. Mike Reedy, what are your thoughts on this, Dan McFarland?
Dan McFarland. I feel sorry for Ulster, because, like what the lads just said there, they have some players that were excellent. Say 2 years ago, Mike Lowry, Balakoon, like all the backs, Hume, and not even one of them now is playing to any decent standard. Stockdale is not even related to a fucking international rugby player right now. I mean,
he's fucking shite.
Against Ospreys was absolutely like abysmal.
Brutal.
The whole team weren't. No, but there's other players, like more experienced players like Henderson and that. They're not really dragging. They should be dragging the team by the scruff of the neck when the manager isn't getting the best of him. No, he's made a couple of really, really crucial mistakes this year as a manager of any team in any sport. Throwing your players under a bus after a game is just an absolute, and especially in rugby. It's like what David said. You don't hear your laundry in like in public. You take that into the changing room and dress him down there and do whatever is needed. But you do not, and he has, and I'm sorry, but he's completely lost the dressing room. There isn't one player playing for him. So I'm not in favor of changing like officials during the season, but I think they have to. I think their season free fall, and like they're still in with a semi chance of making the playoffs, and the URC. Just a couple of results would turn that around for him. Would get him back into the playoff situation. So to be honest, he had to go.
Can I make a quick point just to Mike and Pete, fair enough to coach and the coach and all that, but are these players that you're speaking of, are they as good as people are making them out to be? Because Mike Lowry never really reached to the standard that he was billed at. Neither did Balakoon. Stockdale was there and lost it. And I remember for years Ulster fans talking about Craig Gilroy. Oh, he should be on the Irish team. He should be on the Irish team. But like, I mean, anyone with a bit of rugby knowledge could see the little detailed flaws in their games that won't get them to international level. Very good for provincial, but they never reach the next level. And I think that's proven in the Irish selections over the last couple of years.
Yeah. In fairness, both Balakoon and Lowry did get run out for Ireland. Not very brief now, but that was probably very brief because they didn't raise to the standard that you're talking about. It's a very interesting point. You're right.
But this is it. Like, and I'm not saying this to have a go at us.
Look, they're fucking shite. Anyway, look, we've a load of comments coming in here about Dan McFarland. Good riddance. That's what I say as an Ulster fan. Okay, someone else says, I'm going to be honest, Dan is a spoofer. All right, fair enough. Someone else says he has taken no responsibility and blamed his own players and refs instead of looking at what he's doing himself.
That's a comment there now. That's a comment there, that one. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just see here. Regardless of how it happened, it's good to see someone who came through the ranks getting the job, even if it's only temporary, rather than make a panic appointment of just a famous name.
Fair point.
Yeah, okay, Grant. Imagine if you are the players hearing this. Jesus, yeah, all right, fair enough, yeah. Grant. I feel this is why Ulster have been so bad. If Dan can speak the way he does on social media for everyone to see, I can just imagine what he says behind closed doors.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's let me see. One more. No one will want Dan as a coach if he makes comments.
He's another really good one. He's turning out to be something like that, you know, and that's. I mean, I need to wear now using words like Eddie Jones, like, you know, it's just. But,
well, hold on now. I'm going to come on to that. 1 sec now, Mike. Dan McFarland is the first Ulster coach of the pro era to coach more than 100 games. Third, I think, best win rate. Just outstayed his welcome. Yes. Well, look, this is what we're talking about. He the general consensus is that he outstayed his welcome. Yeah. Right. Anyway, we'll park that. We could go on all night talking about that. The other thing I want to talk about, Peter Martin, I'll come to you first on this. This touted 20-minute red card. This is nothing new. This has been tried already. I personally don't like it. I don't think it will work. I think it's. I just think it's a load of bollocks. What do you think of it yourself?
I totally agree with every syllable you just uttered.
Okay. Are you my wife?
No.
Leave that for off camera, Pete. Yeah.
No man's that lucky.
Jesus Christ. No, look, it's all fair and well. Like, from my mind, the way World Rugby are trying to tackle through various different means or methods, player safety. They're trying to be better at player safety. By allowing the New Zealand Rugby Union to trial something like this is absolute fucking bonkers. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It simply doesn't. Like, basically, that move is to my mind is being fueled by money. Somebody with deep pockets, with influence in the New Zealand Rugby Union, is coming around and saying, you just need to do something about this, guys, or we're pulling the plug, or we're not going to invest, because this is what we want. People want to be entertained. And as far as we can see, the game is no longer a game. It's no longer entertainment when there's uneven numbers in the pitch. So you just need to do something about it, right? Or we're out. That's what that basically smacks of to me. Is like it's entertainment, baby. Some fucking clown or group body with financial muscle is coming in and saying that, and therefore New Zealand Rugby Union are just saying, right, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's no, absolutely no.
Okay.
Can't be
okay.
doing that.
Okay, Dave.
That's like, I mean, that's a whole another discussion in its own about entertainment for rugby. You know, I want my entertainment from watching a rugby match. Like, didn't I see over in
Are
South
you
Africa?
not? Are you not entertained?
I'm
said
entertained by
Russell
the
Crowe.
rugby. I'm entertained by the rugby, not the crap that goes on off the pitch. I looked at over in South Africa, there's a swimming pool for children behind the posts.
Not by you, Peter Burke.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable. Like, I mean, I go to Thomond Park now and the announcer is talking for 20 minutes before the game, get your selfies in, promoting this, promoting that. I watched an Ireland-Wales game from the 70s there a couple of days ago, and it was just Bill McLaren talking for 10, 15 minutes before the match. No pundits. It was brilliant to hear. And then if we're talking about safety as well, I remember this looking at the scrums. Like, they just bind up. They hold, and when the ball's in, then they push. Like, that surely was the safest way of scrummaging. Then this initial hit and pressure on the next one. Now I'm not a forward, I can't say much. But, like, I mean, that for me, that watching that 70s game was entertainment. I loved it, the pure rugby and this, that, and the other. Like, this is just more nonsense, trying to change the rules of rugby again and again and again till we're all sick and tired of it. At this stage, they've done it with the Champions Cup, changing the group stages and stuff. They've done it with rule after rule after rule, and it doesn't work. Like, if there's any rule they need to change, it's the emphasis they put on the referees, because, like, the ref in the Scotland game, the TMO, was put under serious pressure by the referee with the wording. That's the legality and all that. It's just, I don't know. Like, I mean, and I totally accept Pete's point. It does smell, now that he says it, there's money behind it. Definitely. It's more player, more entertainment, because that's what they're like in the Southern Hemisphere. Whereas we love the tough and rumble up here. So yeah, I just think it's another thing doomed for failure. I mean, they keep every couple of seasons, the Southern Hemisphere tries these rules. It gets brought up here, and then it's gotten rid of in another year, and then everyone has to go back and look at the rule book and go, what can we do now? Are we not allowed to do this? And leave the game alone, lads. Yeah. Just leave the game alone, for fuck's sake.
Dave, I totally agree with you. Pete, totally agree with you. Mike Reedy, this 20-minute red card where if the player who caused the offence is sent off, he's not going to be brought back on, but they can replace him with another player.
I think it's a very dangerous road to venture down, because, I mean, the rugby, like we've said before, the rugby unions are at the moment being sued for negligence, like, by people that have played 20, 30 years ago because of dementia and stuff. And like, if they're serious, if they want to be proven to be serious about making the game safer and making the game more acceptable for parents to allow their kids to play, because that's where we're fucking heading, lads. Make no mistake about it. If they allow this game to go on the way and bow down to what the All Blacks want, the game's in serious trouble. It's already in bother.
It's the Southern Hemisphere Union, ruling union. It's not New Zealand.
What it's down to? It's down to fucking Sam Cane getting sent off in the World Cup final, and they can't accept that, because they think they had a chance. They had it. To be fair, it did make a decision on the final. It was a decisive thing, but he had to go. And like, look at Willemse. Willemse fucking. He gets a yellow card, which should have been a red, and then fucking he's back on, and 5 minutes later he gets another one. So he's not learning. If you don't learn when you get a red card, you've got.
He was trying to perfect his fucking trade. He tried.
How would you stop it?
He tried a second time ago.
Well, come here.
I will say this: if the situations like, for instance, the one last year in the England game against us, when Freddie Stewart got red carded. In a situation where you maybe have an accidental coming together of heads, and it's deemed to be a red card offence, maybe in situations, but anything that's foul, serious foul play, a player cannot. There have to be the penalty has to be severe enough for him not to do it again. I mean, the incidents with Finlay Beelum, the guy tramped over his head, and also the one the knee to Tom Ahern in the Northampton game.
Yeah,
like. They're red card decisions, and those players need to be banned. It's as simple as that, and they were.
Okay,
And
so, gentlemen, are we in agreement that the 20-minute red card is a lot of bollocks?
nonsense, absolute fucking nonsense.
Loud about it. But it will, if you bring that in, it will increase cynical play. Like if you've a Brian O'Driscoll in your back line and they're like, oh, he's the best player, you're our shittest player, you take him out.
Yeah.
And get him off the
All right.
pitch. That's
Right,
exactly what it'll encourage.
Yeah. Well, it has
Okay, okay, sorry, Mike. Just comments are flooding in here about this. Not a fan of the red card at all. Someone else says it's about a good idea as nominating Finn Russell for Player of the Year. I suspect it's Dara Russell. Dara Weston. Dara Russell, Jesus. Ridiculous idea. Someone else says, hello guys, how are we all? Someone else says 20-minute red cards will lead to the cards stopping and starting the game even more. Stopping and starting the game even more. Yeah, that's a good point there. Doing something stupid is one thing, but doing something that can seriously injure or worsen needs warrants a red card. That must be a serious deterrent on a team. What price do they put on entertainment versus a player's life? Yeah. Okay.
And you think the Safas won't be cynical if that law was brought in?
I know. Soft reds and hard reds. Yeah. I saw a porn movie with a title like that. TMO and refs are fuck up the game after round 10 URC. 3 Irish teams are, but one loss was not good enough week for the Irish team. They should be better than that. Okay. Right, fair enough. Oh, come here, gents. I meant to say to you, do you know who is the names in the hat to take over from Dan McFarland? We have Richie Murphy, who's hot favourite, the under-20s coach.
You do it on a temporary basis, though, I'd say.
Yeah, Joe Schmidt.
No, sure.
And and the best one, gentlemen, the best one, Eddie Jones.
Nah.
See, they're all pie in the sky. The people forget that Ulster are 900,000 quid in the debt, so it'll be an internal appointment.
Yeah, true. Okay, right, moving on, lads.
Declan Kidney was a good shout. I saw that mentioned on the group earlier for the Ulster job. I thought that was a good shout.
Yeah, not bad. I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Yeah, that's a good shout, Dave. Yeah.
That was a good shout.
Father Declan.
Yeah. Right, moving on. Mike Reedy. Excuse me. Next one, Kieran Frawley at 15. Mike, good, bad?
The natural choice, I would say. Almost obvious choice. Like, well, maybe not. I don't know. Well, I really want to see him play. I want to see him play for Ireland, and I want to see him play for Leinster even. And he's not getting to play. So I want to know what he's missing that I'm not seeing. Because I rate him. I rate him as a better 10 than either of the Burns as a Leinster player, and nobody else seems to. The people that matter don't. So, listen, lads, if he's in the team, I'm looking forward to tell you the truth, to seeing him and Crowley like interlinking together, because when you have two playmakers like that and they're both playmakers, it gives you another dimension in a game, and we're strong. We're strong all over the. We could almost suffer almost any loss now at the moment, and be comfortable enough in this Six Nations, I think, anyway. I don't want any of the players to get injured, but our hand has been forced now, and we're never going to find out who can fill in for Hugo Keenan if the fucking issue isn't forced, and it's forced upon us, and he'll be fine. He'll be absolutely fine. I'm over the moon he's playing. I'm from Munster, but I support all the provinces, and I
know this is the Irish team. This is not provincial. This is the
Irish
team.
Even a Leinster point of view, and it actually it's annoyed me. It's annoyed me that he's been, and like we brought him on as Crowley's replacement in the first game, And then he's fucking disappeared when they're playing Italy. Well, I couldn't understand that at all. That was the ideal opportunity to have him play one half and Crowley play the first half and then bring him on at half time. And that to me was the ideal scenario to do that if the game was comfortable, which it was.
Jeez, you get fucking annoyed easily, don't you?
I get annoyed with stupidity, and that to me is fucking stupid.
All right, fair enough.
It's
Okay,
it's the old age, Peter.
well, maybe so, yeah.
It's sound and fairy.
I have
very good. Okay.
I've had a lot of frustration supporting Ireland in the fucking 80s and the 90s.
Just go and fucking
I need a hug, Mike.
go into the Jacks, Mike William, just fucking fire one off there.
I'm too old for that now, for fuck's sake.
Jesus Christ. But I actually have a foot pump I used to use, Mike. Do you want that? I'll take it over to you if you want.
There's too much information.
Dave Sheedy.
As well, past the threshold at this stage.
There you go. Dave Sheedy, Frawley at 15. What do you reckon?
I'm in the same group as Mike. I want to see him play. I don't want to see him play at 15 though, because I don't think he has the pace, and I don't think he has the defense. The back three, especially fullback, is extremely hard to defend, and I've only seen a handful of players in the last 20 years be actually good at it. And I would say Hugo Keenan is the best out there because he's always in the right place at the right time. Whereas if you look at the likes and Zebo and Haley, they're always out of position. They're always out of position when it comes to defending. I mean, look, anyone can catch a ball and fall over the line and jink and this, that, and the other, but defense is where you earn your money at fullback. I would rather see, I'd like to see Larmer in there, but a couple of people said, we're talking in the group during the week, that he's not good under the high ball. So put James Lowe there. Big boot. Defense, he stepped it up after we all criticized him there a year or two ago. He stepped up. His defense is rock solid. His boot is amazing. He's well able to field the ball. Put Larmer on the wing, put James Lowe a fullback, and then Nash on the other wing. Frawley needs to cement a position. Like what Mike said, I have no idea what's going on. He's been tossed around like a hot potato from this position to this position to this position. If he doesn't cement a position soon, we could lose a potential great talent in the three-quarters line because he's either going to be 12 or 10. I don't think he's quick enough for 13. I mean, if you're not going to put him on the wing, you don't put him a fullback, because fullback is harder. I think the only reason he's probably not getting a shot at 10 is his kicking a goal might be a little subject. But everything else, he's got the hands. He can run the ball. I mean, we've seen it, but we just haven't seen enough of it, and that's what I think.
But Dave, if you put Crowley if Crowley's on the park, if you put Crowley at 15 and play Frawley at 10, then you got a kicker on the park. Give it to Crowley.
Like Crowley can play 15, but do we not want players playing in the position that they're supposed to be in? Are we going to have everyone as a utility back? Okay, he can do that. Gavin Coombs can play the second row. Is he a second row? No.
No, I know what you mean. No, fair point. I was being devil's advocate there.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Mike. Peter Martin, what do you think?
Well, I was going to say, you could easily have. I agree with everything that the lads have said as regards Frawley. I think he's fantastic talent. I would disagree with Dave as regards his kicking because you saw him land an absolute monster kick against La Rochelle from basically his halfway line, and he didn't need to make it, but he did, and it was a bit of a wow moment for me. So look, I think I'd say the issue is that he is that good that they'll say, do you know what? Isn't it wonderful we have a Swiss Army knife? It's the scary Swiss Army knife, in our team. The other thing I would just say as well is that you've got, looking further afield and looking in New Zealand, you've got the likes of Bowden Barrett, former World Player of the Year, who's equally good at 15 as he has been at 10 now. He's been moved from 10 and he's now effectively been cemented at 15. But can he play 10? Of course he can. He has played against Ireland in the past at 10 and made shite of us a few years ago. So I just think whole thing about, you know, the defense, I think, you know, Hugo Keenan is will probably go down as things stand at the moment. I would say is going down one of our all-time great players, from a positional point of view, as being basically possibly the greatest fullback we'll ever have produced. Because, you know, even just thinking about it now, like, you know, I would say he's probably streets ahead of Rob Kearney in a technical ability. He's better than Jim Staples going back a number of years, or Kieran Clark's, all the way back to the bad old days of the 90s when we had one or two decent players, you know, in the backs. He's streets and miles ahead. What separates Keenan from everyone else, as what David said about the defense, is that he sees his. When you're a sevens player, and we had this conversation with Mark McHugh a few weeks ago, you have to be on your fucking money as a defender, because when you're playing sevens, there's only some of this. You've got a whole shitload of ground to cover. You have to be seriously fit, and you have to be able to make your decisions right if you're going after a guy to get him. You have to be absolute. It's basically shit or bust as a defender. So I think Keenan comes into his own as a defender in that regard. There are different players who can do a different role at fullback for you. I think Frawley can actually do that. He's a safe pair of hands. He's not going to be the kind of run from DP. Like if you're to compare himself with Jordan Larmour, to two different types of players altogether. Larmour is a jinker and a stepper, and he'll be the guy who, you know, when it's a high, if he does go in at fullback and claims a high ball, he'll be his first instinct is to get yards, and he will make ground in a phone box. That's the type of player. He just jinks and runs, while Frawley is more likely to put boot to ball and then chase his own kick. They're just slightly different players. I do think you could have the situation now. I wouldn't necessarily agree, but you could have the situation tomorrow where Crowley's put in at 15 and Harry Burns put in at 10 against Wales. Crowley's played 15. He finished the game against Italy, you know, at 15. You know,
are we going to do sorry, Pete, are we going to do a 6-2 or a 5-3 bench?
Well, I think has been proven that if you have Frawley in the squad, you can do what the hell you want as regards your bench, because you can basically play 3 or 4 positions.
Sure.
So
on that point, Pete, if you're putting a recognised 10 at fullback, whether it be Crawley or Frawley, are you not saying to the opposition that we're going to try and control the game more by kicking to touch and this stuff? Because fullback, you need pace as well, and I don't think Frawley's as quick as other fullbacks.
I'd say there's merit in that. We haven't seen him kind of in straight. He's certainly not. I would say he's not known for having a turn of pace.
Yeah.
That's not to say he's not. He's slow. He's just not. Wouldn't have the turn of pace other contenders would have. What I would say is you definitely have 2 playmakers. You know, if you have the likes of Crowley and Frawley on the pitch, the selection is going to be very interesting tomorrow. And if it's a case that we have 2 10s on the pitch against Wales, it'll be interesting to see on phase play where they come into as, you know, first receiver, as playmaker, who literally takes the 10 role. Are they interchangeable? It'll just be a fascinating watch from that technical, real kind of tactical point of view for the nerds amongst who love looking at that kind of stuff. It's going to be you know, fascinating, but it'll just you know, we'll just have to wait and see what Farrell reads out tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Absolutely, gents. And just a couple of comments coming in there. If Eddie Jones comes to Ulster, they may as well just bury themselves. All right, fair enough.
He's a World Cup winning coach still, isn't he?
As an Ulster man, I wouldn't want Schmidt because he has become predictable. I think Eddie is a lunatic. Sorry, I'm just hovering over something there. Okay. I like Frawley at 15, someone says. One person, hold on, what's this now? One person never mentioned, but how about McCall as Sarri's a coach that the IRFU have never looked at yet, has won 3 EPCs, multiple GP titles, and an Ulsterman. I don't know if McCall would entertain. I don't know, I could be wrong. I don't think
he was coach at Ulster, wasn't he?
I don't fucking know.
in the past.
I think he was.
Frawley
and I think
is
he got the card.
a key player at 50. Hold on, lads. Hold on 1 second. Now we move on after this. Just reading out some comments here. Frawley is a great player, but will end up with a career of cameos at different positions throughout the. Yeah, that's the danger. That's the danger.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Sometimes a player ability to play multiple positions become a noose around the neck. That seems to be the case with Frawley. He's just too good as a Mr. Swiss knife for Leinster. That is very true. Yes, Peter Martin. I think you made that point on several occasions here on the show. Anyway, right.
Pete, when are Leinster going to pick? When are Leinster going to pick their guy at number 10 now that Sexton's gone? Because you've 3 options now, and they're not cementing any one of them. You being the Leinster fan,
I think that's only a good thing, and I think the fact that Sam Prendergast is there as well, I think it's just going to be, you know, I think the whole thing is as well. Excuse me, that the fact that Sexton was, you know, streets ahead. Again, I'll make that slight analogy to where Keenan is. I think Sexton was just like head, shoulders, you know, body, arse, legs, the whole lot above everyone else. Now you have a situation where they're all 4, well, probably 3 really good players, one with massive potential, Mr. Prendergast, and then we have Harry Byrne, who's a very good player. His brother, who's basically a very good kicker. And then you have Frawley, who seems to have an awful lot more. It's an interesting conundrum.
Listen, you'd
rather that than be in the Ulster situation where basically you've got a bog standard AIL quality out half and nobody else really pushing them. So
what's going to happen with Leinster, Dave, to answer your question, what's going to happen with Leinster is that Ross Byrne, Harry Byrne are going to hold the fort until Prendergast gets enough experience to be a first starter for Leinster and Ireland. Whether that is a year or 2 down the line, we shall wait and see. But Prendergast is the guy in waiting. Ross Byrne.
Will we see Kieran Frawley coming to Munster then to replace Joey Carberry?
Why would Frawley want to go down to?
If he wants to play 10 and he's not getting game time, because you've 4 out halves of Leinster now and they all want game time and there's no room for all of them.
I'd say probably one of the Burns would head to Munster, someone else would go to Ulster.
You don't want them.
Yeah, well, you never know. But I mean, no, but I'd say, as I said, Prendergast is the player in waiting.
I think he needs to be given time, by the way. I think they don't want to rush him in.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they're not going to rush him in at all. They're going to they'll cover him in fucking, you know, plastic and keep him fucking safe. But what I'm saying is that they will play. Prendergast will be a bench player for maybe the next year and start a few as well. But my point is that he would be an understudy, not to those lads, but he'd be an understudy to Sexton's legacy. And they've seen this, and they'll keep him there. They'll keep him there. He'll play his games, get his time on the park, and you know, then he'll launch into first starts for Leinster, and then it'll be Crowley and himself vying for that 10 jersey.
Why not Frawley? Why not Frawley? Like, there's a lot of hype. There's a lot of hype over Sam Prendergast because the majority of pundits in this country are from Leinster. And I'm not saying he's not a great player. He's got all the potential in the world, but he's so bloody young. He's just out of under 20s. Like, by saying he's the next Sexton, you're basically just throwing Harry Byrne, Ross Byrne, and Frawley out the window, because I think Frawley's better than him at the minute.
Yeah, he is, because he's had more game time. He's had more game time. Yeah. But in time, Prendergast will be the next Sexton. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first, lads.
Right. We'll park that just
now. We'll park that. Okay. Now, Dave, I'm coming to you because you are one of 2 Munster men on the screen and you are our guest. Conor Murray looks like he's going to lose his central contract next year with the IRFU, and Munster are going to cover his wages. Is that justified in your eyes?
I think we got to keep Murray because I know Craig Casey's getting a lot of game time and people are blowing him up. Now, my own prejudice, but I don't see it. I don't think Casey's near the complete pair. If anything, when Patterson was playing, I thought Patterson was better. So we have to keep Conor Murray because he steadies the ship. He's to Munster what Sexton was to Leinster. He keeps everything going smoothly, and you got to cover it. And then O'Mahony, what's the story with his central contract? And Munster going to cover that as well. There's two players Munster need badly to see out this season and next season. Definitely. I mean, you got to keep them, man.
And by the way, can I just ask you a question? When you're in Thomond Park,
yeah,
and you're screaming for Munster,
yeah,
and people hear your voice,
yeah,
they turn around and go, "What the fuck is your man doing down here?"
Do you know? I stand above the tunnel in the East Terrace for every game, and every game I go to, I squeeze my way in there with my father, and you kind of see the same faces. So after a while, people get used to it, but you'd always get one lad kind of looking around, and you'd be like, "Is that a fucking Dublin accent up there? What's the story there?" You know, I do get it, but honestly, it's like I always go into the supporters club bar afterwards, and to be talking to people, no one ever really mentions it, to be honest. So
okay. All right, fair enough. Okay, leave it at that. Peter Martin, Conor Murray coming off his central contract. It looks like he's coming off his central contract with the IRFU, and Munster are going to cover his wages. Is that a wise move, or what do you think?
Yeah, well, I'd say it makes sense. Murray still got. He won't be. Look, he's not necessarily the player. He still has a fair bit to offer though at the same time. He's obviously slipping into that kind of mentor role as much as anything else. Casey obviously will have learned so much from him. He's going to benefit the young guns coming through with Munster anyway. So I think it makes absolute sense, really, to be honest with you. I would have no issue. I'm sure Munster fans are delighted to hear that he's going to be sticking around, even if he's going to be pushed out of the Ireland setup. Maybe at the end of this coming season, that he's still going to be there for Munster.
Okay, fair enough. Mike Reedy, any thoughts on this?
To tell you the truth, I have to be honest. I think he's done. And I thought that. See the Exeter game for Munster this year cost Munster that. Same Northampton didn't step up to the mark. As soon as he comes on, the play slows down. He slows everything down. He doesn't get to the breakdown quick enough. He's been probably the best scrum half Ireland have had in a generation. But I think he's done. I genuinely think he's done. And
how old is Murray, Mike? How old is Murray? 33 or
34.
No, he's lads. Do you know something? He's been a fantastic servant, and he had a bad injury, and it's been a struggle for him to come back. Do you know what actually ruined Conor Murray? Fucking Johan van Graan. He's
getting married. Get married.
Oh Jesus!
Get married.
Fucking rugby. He changed the whole way he played. See when he played in 2018, best scrum half we'd ever had, by the way, in my opinion, Ireland have ever had. The way he played in 2018, and
well, sure, Mike. What? 2018, Jacob Stockdale was great.
He was, yeah.
Yeah. And he's fucking shite.
So he was. Not dreadful.
Murray's 35 at the end of April.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think if Munster need him, then they need him, because what's happened to Paddy Patterson? Is he?
I think it's his knee. I think
there's a few injuries down there.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't be giving him a central contract, certainly no. I would give him a.
Sorry, Mike. Someone is saying there Murray should retire. Excuse me. Murray should retire.
I would give O'Mahony another central contract. I think he's earned it. I think he's. They're making him captain.
Oh, I'd agree with you. I'd agree with that. I think Peter O'Mahony. Although
1 year.
Yeah, but then again, if someone says to Peter O'Mahony, listen, we'll give you 600,000 for one season to play in France.
Oh, like for you have to.
You know.
And I
So
wouldn't blame.
why wouldn't you? You'd be fucking mad not to.
Yeah.
He doesn't know Ireland or anything. He doesn't know Munster or anything. You know, so why wouldn't you do that? Anyway, that's one of those things we shall wait and see. Right, gentlemen. Peter Martin's come to you first. The games that happened last weekend, we'll go in order of when they happened. We had Scarlets entertaining Munster. Munster dominant. They absolutely fucking walloped them. Munster 42, Scarlets 7. What did you think of that game if you saw it?
I did see it, yeah. Munster just went to town on Scarlets. Scarlets are not the team they were in the past. Like, you know, they've a kind of a proud heritage. You've always been kind of like the backbone of that Welsh team, by and large, over the years. No, they just, you know, they don't have it. Like, you know, they're a typical Welsh side insofar as, for me, they don't have anything in the front five. Just don't have the power, don't have technique. You know, Harry O'Connor, who's been called up by Wales, just got owned by Lockman at scrum time, which is saying a lot, seeing as Lockman wouldn't be renowned for scrummaging. So yeah, look, they were poor. Like, Munster were very, very good. They kept the ball well, alive well in phase play. You know, like, again, Coombs is becoming so predictable. 2 tries, man of the match.
Yeah.
You know, he's just, that's, you know, it's, you know, death, taxes, and Coombs scoring tries in the URC. Like, that's, you know, kind of like where it's at, really.
But Andy Farrell doesn't like him for some reason.
I'd say there's probably that extra 1% needs to be got out of Coombs to get him, you know. But then, you know, and this is a conversation that's been had repeatedly. It's up and down every other fucking pub in the country, rugby club in the country, is that we're just stacked at back row.
Yeah. Kane Prendergast, Pete. Kane Prendergast as well, Pete. We spoke about him before.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, Dave, Scarlets v Munster. I presume you watched that. What did you make of that?
There's not much I can really add to what Pete said, because he kind of wrapped it up. I mean, the game was kind of really over at the start of the second half, really, and Munster just kind of cruised in. I think what this game highlighted is more what the feck is going on off the pitch with Welsh rugby, because every time I look at an Ospreys game or a Scarlets game, the stadium's like empty, man, absolutely empty. The fans aren't turning up. The performances are absolutely abysmal. Now, I missed the Ospreys game at the weekend, but I heard it was a bar fest. But I think that's the main talking point I got from stuff I've read about it and listened to podcasts. Is just massive concerns in Wales. Like, I mean, the regions are not getting the foot traffic at all. Like, and then it's obviously affecting the players. I mean, Scarlets.
Dave, I would be talking to a Welsh supporter coach of teams tomorrow at 8:00.
Julian,
and
yes.
I will ask him that question. Mike Reedy, Scarlets v Munster.
Just a completely dominant. I mean, Munster actually started off a bit shaky for me. They took them a while to get into the game, and then Coombs, that's what, like the lads have said, Coombs, he's an enigma for me, because he's doing it every week basically for Munster. And what is he not showing? Is he another Kieran Foley? What's he not showing to Andy Farrell? Like, when he has had a chance, he's not even getting a chance now. He's not even getting in the training squad, which is to me.
He probably sent Andy Farrell a fucking dick pic or something. Joe.
Maybe just large like the rest of him. I don't know. But
there you go. That's it. Yeah.
No, it was like Scarlets were absolutely abject. You know, every aspect of their game was completely substandard, and Munster dominated the game and brought out the winners. I mean, what we said about
Okay.
it.
Okay, Mike, back to you. We're going around the other way. Leinster were entertaining Benetton. Leinster 47, Benetton, I'm looking at my own right, 18. Did you see that game?
Surprised by the scoreline, to tell you the truth. I didn't think it would be as, like, Leinster played with a very inexperienced side to all intents and purposes, you know, and completely dominated again. You know, it was all one-way traffic, really, wasn't it? Oh, I know that Benetton up to half time they got a couple of tries, and they, I think it was only 19-14 or something like that at half time or something like that, and it was no, just a dominant performance, very efficient in the second half. Leinster just completely ran away with it and ran over the top of and it really. I was disappointed with Benetton, if I'm asking me. They're second in the fucking league. You know, they should be putting a better performance to that in, but they didn't. So there we go.
Okay. Dave, did you see that game? No, I don't think you did you?
I was fitting the floor out in Dunleary when that game was on. If I'd have known I'd come on this, I would have spent the last 3 nights looking through every game meticulously, like for detail, to comment on it. One thing I want to say about Gavin Coombs, though, just quickly. Paul O'Connell and John Fogarty control the forwards. If they wanted him in, he'd be there. He'd be there.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
it's not Andy.
Okay. Someone there, Dave, I presume this is in reference to you. Peter Burke, I know I questioned if you were a Leinster fan during the week, so I see you went out and got a real one.
I just want to say, I played with St. Mary's around the corner here with a Munster jersey for like 10 years. There's nothing people can say to me anymore. It was 5 years before the Leinster thing, so forget about that.
Coombs acted the expletive in camp, and you can't do that. More attitude adjustment than anything, than any playing ability needed.
Never heard
All
that.
right. Peter Martin, Peter Martin, Leinster v Benetton. Did you see that, or what?
Didn't see it.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Cardiff, Connacht scraped to a fucking shitty win over Connacht over Cardiff. Sorry, it was a fucking shite game. Really, win ugly, but God, it wasn't an advertisement for the game at all. Peter Martin, did you see that one?
Sorry, what was that game again?
Connacht v Cardiff.
I saw bits and pieces of it. Look, again, Cardiff. You know, it's going to rinse and repeat, really, for me as regards these Welsh teams. Cardiff are one of the better, probably, supported teams because they play out of the Arms Park, and there's a bit of an atmosphere. They do generate a good show under hosting and so on compared to some of the other Welsh teams, I think. But look, it was a shitty, shoddy game, scruffy game. Connacht got the win. That's it.
Yeah. All right, Dave, were you still laying that floor?
I was still laying that floor, yeah. I was still
laying that floor.
You're fucking slow taking 2 days.
Jesus Christ. Mike Reedy, did you see that game?
I saw it all, yeah.
It was shit, wasn't it? It was absolutely fucking brutal.
On it. But it was actually nice to see a crowd at a fucking Wales in a Wales stadium, a Welsh game. You know, there was a good crowd at that game in Cardiff, and
it was.
But the game itself was fucking dreadful, like too dreadful to come on it. And Connacht were, do you know something? They won the game. That's all I said. And probably just about deserved it in the end. There was
win ugly.
Win like France-Scotland game. Neither team deserved to win.
Yeah. All right, Mike, back to you, and we go around the other way. Ospreys were entertaining Ulster, which was probably the nail in Dan McFarland's. Yeah, probably the nail in Dan McFarland's coffin. Ospreys 19, Ulster 17.
Well, Ulster certainly weren't entertaining anybody anyway. That's for certain. They were dreadful, absolutely dreadful, and they could have won it. and probably should have won it. Snatched fucking defeat from the jaws of victory. You know, I thought they'd won it with the until obviously they gave away a fucking shit. That was Stockdale again. Stockdale made probably 3 crucial mistakes in that game. They all cost Ulster scores. And do you know something I don't even want to talk about? It was just depressing watching it. Terrible game of rugby. But
all right, Dave, were you still setting that floor, yeah?
No, I'd finished the floor and I'd gone to a birthday party. I by what sounds like Mike said, I was delighted I missed that game.
It was fucking shit.
It sounded terrible. All the comments I went through, and just because you try and catch up on things through the comments if you don't want to watch it, and the Ulster supporters are just losing their shit, and rightly so. Rightly so.
Fair enough. Okay, Peter Martin, did you manage to see any of that?
No, but the one thing I will say, it's extraordinary that Farrell has seen something in Stockdale still, despite the fact Stockdale these days appears to be lost on a rugby pitch. He was in the training squad this week. I don't know. Is he holding a candle or something?
I'm wondering.
I actually agree with exactly your sentiments. I have no fucking idea what Stockdale is doing.
I can't get my head around it at all. There's if we haven't got a better winger in any of the 4 provinces than that, we're in trouble. By the way, it's simple as fucking that, as far as I'm concerned. He's dreadful. Every complete aspect of his game is dreadful.
The only thing I would say perhaps is the fact that Stockdale probably significantly ups his game around the national setup. Now, I'm not making excuses, but there must be something to that level that he's rotting, because we've seen it before in the past with players, Irish players. A certain Conor O'Shea back in the day was basically, he was shite when he was at Ireland, and he played when he played for London Irish, when London Irish were in the Visa Premiership, whatever the fuck it was called back in the day. He was on the player of this. He was player on the team of the season. He was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. There's no one could touch him. Put on the green jersey, the Irish jersey, and he was fucking rubbish. So it could be something. There must be something that it's a confidence thing. It's an atmosphere thing. I don't know. Farrell obviously just seems to have a blind faith in him.
I think it's the accidental sending a dick pic to Andy Farrell thing again. I'm convinced.
he must be given some great reach arounds to that coaching ticket. But as Mike said though about Van Gran ruining Murray, maybe McFarlane has ruined Stockdale.
There could be something in it. That's
there has to be something in that.
Good point, Dave. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said there, woeful game, and I don't say it often, but Timony didn't even turn up. Would that be Megan Augusta? Because I know Megan has a thing for Nick Timony. Is it Megan Augusta? Yeah. It must be. Right.
But
okay.
based on that comment, it sounds like McFarlane has just lost the dressing room, because Timony has turned up to every single game, and he didn't even want to play.
He's a great player. He's a great player, Dave. Yeah, I agree. It's a great player. Right, gentlemen, we are over the hour mark. So briefly, let's just look at the games coming up. Dave, I'm coming to you first.
Yeah.
Now we've 2 international friendlies, i.e., we're still recovering from COVID and we're fucked for finances. So let's make up these games. We have there's Saracens are playing Leinster and Munster are playing Quins. It's going to be an experimental. Fuck it, let's throw the lads out, get some money through the gate, and see what happens. So I'm not even going to go there. But what I will ask you, Dave, is in order of them happening, Ireland versus Wales, 6 Nations. Give us your best prediction there, Dave.
You can't see anything but like an Ireland win because of the way they've been playing. And Wales definitely have been improving, but they're still a young side. I think they're naive, but I think this game will either be gone from Wales in the first quarter and they just drop their heads because they're a young enough team, or they'll stay in the game and then Ireland will blow them away in the last quarter, maybe. But like, I mean, I can't see anything other than an Ireland win. We're far too strong, far too efficient. Our rucks are too quick. We've too much experience. Our bench is better. Like, Wales are rebuilding, man. So like they'll get there. Gatlin will get them back. Gatlin will do his usual waffle to get a performance out of them, but I don't think it'll last long. You know,
No.
I think they were blitzed by England a bit in the end as well.
All right, fair point. Peter Martin. Ireland v Wales.
Yeah, I don't think it's beyond the boundaries that we could nil them. To be honest, purely because for the few mistakes we'll make, I'm not sure Costello was a good enough kicker. So who's going to kick penalties for them? Who's going to Who's going to register them on the scoreboard?
They don't have a 10, Pete.
That's my point. Costello was in instead of Lloyd. The two lads. It's a little bit strange that he's got two really callow 10s, both at the same club, both at the same position. You know, it's fair, and they're both Scarlets players, I think, as well. It's
I think you're right.
It doesn't bode well. Like, you know, I do think we'd not be on the boundaries that we could nil Wales on Saturday. It may not be 36-0 against like we did with Italy, but it may not be too far off if, you know, the performance is if the level is as high again, because look at that Welsh team. It's basically Tweedledum or Tweedledee, Elliot D at hooker, and the guy on the bench, Elias. Neither of them can hit a cow's arse with a banjo. They can't throw into the layout. They're missing several top rate props.
For the banjo.
They have a second row combo. You know, is young pup Daffy Jenkins. He's a captain. He's on the biggest learning streak ever. The only thing I will say is, and he can't do it all on his own, is Tommy Reffell is a bloody good 7. Wainwright is useful with that fantastic moustache at number 8 as well. Then after that, you've got a shite haircut at 12 for Wales, and you've got George North at 13. But there's nothing else. They really are. They are pants.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Okay, thanks, Pete. Mike.
Bonus point win for Ireland. I'll be disappointed if there's anything less than that, to be honest. I could see us absolutely fucking, if we play even close to our potential, we'll run over the top of them. Fucking run up. We could put 50 points in them. We actually could put 50 points in them. We might nil them, because I do rate that Rio Dyer on the wing. I think he's a decent enough winger. But
he's all right.
They have.
Have to get the ball to him, Mike.
Yeah, all right.
True,
Have to get the ball to him.
Yeah, I do. I mean, Tommy Reffell has looked really good in the first 2 games. Wait till he comes up against fucking Joe McCarthy running at him. We'll see how much Jacqueline maybe. When you see Joe McCarthy going over the top of the fucking rock, by the way, and hearing him out.
Okay, gentlemen, right, we're over time. So briefly, Mike, back to you. Scotland versus England. Who do you think is winning that? Two shy teams going against you.
Well, I don't know. If Scotland could actually play a game for 80 minutes instead of 40 minutes, they have a chance that they possibly would. They're good enough to, because England aren't good. I think Scotland will beat them anyway, because they've beaten them the last 4 fucking times they've played them. So I think they'll continue.
That's true. Okay, Dave, Scotland versus England.
Like Mike said, if Scotland can play for the full 80 and not just one half and then sit in their hole, they could do it. But look, England are 2 from 2. They've got momentum. I think Ford in the last game played very like O'Gara, kicking territory. And no, he was. I was watching him. It just reminded me of Raj, because he was looking in behind the wingers, kicking in. I mean, he got, what was it, 1 or 2 50-22s? I think England are going to win this, man. They're 7-5, and it's going to beef up my accumulator for the weekend. So I'm going with England.
Have you got fucking money on this fucking game?
I will tomorrow.
I thought you weren't going to do any more bets.
You sound irritated, P.
I'm not a gambling man. But you see, when Dave was on the chat at 8 the other, he was telling me about a bet he did, and he said he wasn't giving the bookies back their money. So
Yeah. No, you got me on that. It's just a little small accumulator, nothing big.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. I wish you well in your bet, Peter Martin. Scotland versus England, or England versus Scotland, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, this is in Twickenham, isn't it?
No, it's in
No.
It's in
Murrayfield.
Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'll put it to you like this: if Scotland don't win this, and as Mike said, put in an 80-minute performance, I'll even have even have a lower opinion of Finn Russell than you'll have Peter Burke. Because I think it's the ultimate get or get off the pot opportunity for Russell, because as I said last week, 2 matches. He went missing, went and sat in the jacks for fucking 40 minutes against France, did the same fucking crack against Wales, went hiding, and they won 1 match and they were fucking dead lucky. They lost 1 match and that's what happened. 5 point spread. He's got an opportunity to basically say, right, I can control a fucking game because he's at home, I just think, he has to basically, it's the biggest opportunity he'll ever have, I think. 3rd time lucky, perhaps, for him, that he comes out and puts in an 80-minute performance himself, Russell. If he does that, Scotland will win it reasonably handily, I think, because I think they'll get enough ball from England, even though England will probably dominate the forward, the pack. I think Scotland have enough guile because England have nothing in midfield.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry, thanks, Pete. On our last game, and we wrap it up after this. France are entertaining Italy, 2 teams who have not fired yet in this tournament. Peter Martin, how do you see this going?
I couldn't give a shite.
Good man. Okay, Dave.
I do give a shit. I want Italy. I want Italy to pull out another. I mean. Like, we need this Italy team to get one victory, and if it's going to be every 6 nations,
Wales,
Wales, that's fair enough. But they need to get a victory, because then we have to bring in the whole argument of should there be relegation? Because I mean, if you keep losing as a team, it just kills your confidence, and just go back to your club and then back into a losing setup internationally. Like, I mean, I'm praying that Italy will pull out a performance, but I think France are too strong. So,
Dave, the stat. I've said it twice on this show over the past few weeks. The stat about Italy in the 6 nations over the past 24 years.
Go on.
You know it?
No.
The last 24 years, right? Italy joined in the year 2000. It became the 6 nations. The past 24 years. This is the 24th year. This is 23 years. They have had the wooden spoon 18 times.
Okay. I thought you were going to say they had 7 wins.
No. 18 times they had the wooden spoon, and 13 of those 18, they haven't won 1 game. All right. We just leave it at that.
Bring in Portugal.
Mike Reedy, France versus Italy. What do you think?
I think after the way Italy played against Ireland, as poor as France have been the first 2 games, they could batter Italy. On the other hand, Italy could turn fucking. It's an interesting game, to tell you the truth, but I can't see anything other than a comfortable win for France.
Right.
I think
dreadful.
They're going worse, getting worse every.
Yeah, true. Yeah. All right. Okay, gentlemen, listen, we're way over time. All that's left for me to do is to thank Mike Reedy for your attendance. Dave Sheedy, thank you very much. We will have you on again. Great contributor.
Thank you very much.
And as always, Peter Martin, the legend that you are. Thank you, gentlemen, very much.
I love that. I love that wave there.
Hello. Right, gentlemen. Yes. Good night. Good night.
All right.
Take care.
Good luck, lads.
God bless, lads.
Take
care, Andy.
Take care.